What are you doing? People, keep going. What are you doing? Park right in front of my house. And then they keep moving up a little bit, moving up a little bit. I don't know what they're doing. There's two people in the car. Now they just look like, oh, they're going to drive past. And now they just stopped, and now they're backing up again. What are you doing? What are you people doing in front of my house? Go away. Seems dark in here. A little cloudy out there. What are you doing? I hate people. They're just sitting in the car. They're not even talking to each other. It doesn't even look like they're talking to each other. It literally looks like they're just sitting in their car. Man, I'm nosy. Man, I'm an old man. Except here's the thing. This is like 5 minutes now. Literally 5 minutes. Should hit my volume stuff. I'm all frazzled now. I'm trying to get stuff done and I'm frazzling. And now they just took off like a bat out of hell. Like a bat out of Hades. We get some writing in today. Good morning, morning yourself. You didn't say good morning. You said morning, morning. Morning yourself. Still technically morning here. Another 9 minutes. Get some words in. Get some mushroom coffee in my body. Which means run into the bathroom at some point soon. I'm going to turn my fan on though, man. It's wicked hot. Wicked hot. Cat sleeping in here. The other cat's in the other. All the cats are in here. All 37 of them. There's Charlie. Good morning, Charlie. I gotta get some words in here. I'm not sure what though. That's the problem. I have no absolute deadlines. Aiden said, had a question while watching your videos. If you had to choose one memorabilia in your room to get rid of, what would it be? And what would I get rid of? I'm going to tell you what I would get rid of. You can't see it in the video. This wall here, my Marvel Superheroes wall, I have 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 50 Marvel Funko Pops. Now, we got about 1,000 Funko Pops in this house in total, but we haven't collected a Funko Pop in like 3 years. All they're doing is just catching dust now. I would sell that as a whole, as a collection, just get rid of it. That's what I would do if I was going to get rid of something. What would I not get rid of? What would I not get rid of? There's a lot I would not get rid of. Obviously, anything that's like personal to me, like pictures and stuff like that, but also probably the coolest thing I have is I have a signed, you can't see it, I have a signed Slayer picture that a friend gave to me for Christmas one year. And that's a cool one. I like that one up there. But there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff I'm going to be honest with you. I would get rid of about half of the stuff in this room. if I could. Just sell it, not even like giveaways. Although a lot of books, I do give those away. Aiden says, "What wouldn't you give away?" Probably the handful of books I want to keep. That might be it. As I've gotten older, I've become less and less sentimental about things. Well, my dad passed away 3 years ago and left basically my mom with 3 million sports cards and me to sell 3 million sports cards for her. I realized when I die, my kids don't want this crap. My kids aren't going to know what any of this is. So I would give away a lot. Like if you came to my house, I'd be like, "Hey, you like books? Here's 30 books that I've read already and I don't want anymore. And I haven't put them in my little free library yet." Charlie says, "Are Funko Pops valuable?" Some of them are. They're kind of like getting close to Beanie Babies at this point. Like I have several that are worth over a couple $100. I have all three of the baby metal ones up there somewhere, and those are going for like $300, $400 now. And so I've got like an Aussie one that's worth like 200 and something dollars. And the goal is to sell this stuff, to put it all up on eBay, to get rid of it and use the money for my own evil ways. But I'm just lazy and I really need to do it. And I need to do this. I sold a lot of cards for my mom already, probably about 250,000 cards, which is really less than 10% of what we had and have. So I still got to work on that. Aiden says, "That's how I feel as well, which is what inspires me to write. At the end of the day, we will all turn into dust." Exactly. I mean, my kids aren't going to want any of this stuff. The problem is my wife is also a collector of things. So while this room is filled with my stuff, we have a Wonder Woman room, we have a Disney room, I have a baseball room. So I probably wouldn't get rid of any of the baseball Funko Pops. My wife wouldn't get rid of her Wonder Woman or most of her Disney, like her core Disney things that she wants. We for a while there, we were going nuts with Funko Pops. I mean, every Christmas we were each giving each other like a dozen of them. We would go like, let's go to the mall. Let's go to the whatever store. Let's go to Spencer's and whatever. And we would just go through, and I still have the app on my phone of what we have and don't have. We have well over 1,000 of them in this house, but a lot of them are in, I'd say a good 200-300 are in crates in the garage right now because we just don't have the room for it. Like you can't see, but like behind me are all of the music ones. And then I have an entire wall. This side next to the window is all Funko Pops. So I have all of just The Office and Stephen King and all kinds of just random ones. And I'm like, I need to get rid of these. So, again, every room but the living room has Funko Pops in it. But your ideas can last forever. Exactly. There's a legacy of us writing. And we've already figured all that out. Like, obviously, when I go, my wife will get my intellectual property stuff, but then it will pass to my daughter, my youngest, who might know what to do with it. Who knows? At that point, I'll be dead. What do I care? That's when I'll be rich and famous. I'll die in poverty in a cardboard box somewhere. But then all this stuff, all of a sudden, all this stuff will be worth billions, and some ungrateful grandchild of a grandchild will make billions of dollars off of my name. Oh, life. There's Chad. What's up, Chad? Good morning. You laugh, Aiden. It's going to happen to all of us. It's that generation several generations from now that are just going to be awful, awful people, and they're going to control all of this stuff. You're going to see all my stuff is going to be turned into like comedy, and Pauly Shore's grandchild is going to be acting in them, or maybe I don't know who, somebody like that. Anyway, let's have some mushroom coffee. So mushroomy. Oh, I'm like, what is that noise? Let's put that away for now. What am I going to write on today? I'm going to write on Shot in the Dark. Another tie-in to music that I didn't talk about in my my music video where I did my dancing, my choreography music video, where I lip synced a song. My writing one about music yesterday. So I'm chapter 18. Okay. Like the light bothers me, but then it seems like it's too dark. Is it too dark in here? Like, can you see me? Can you see this prettiness? I need to shave. This week I was like, every shower, I'm like, I'm not gonna shave. I'll just wear a hat. I'll just wear a hat. I don't want to, shaving takes, so long, and now it's to that point, it's like 5-6 days growth and it's itching. Chess says, I recently heard the original Shot in the Dark on YouTube. I think it was an old Phil Susan song. Oh, interesting. I thought Jake E. Lee was the one who wrote it. Wasn't that the big controversy? They wouldn't pay Jake for any of that, even though he was in Rat at the time when he started writing those riffs, and then him and what was it? The story he lived with Warren DeMartini. He was in Rat, and then he would play the riff for Shot in the Dark over and over or something. Or no, that was Bark at the Moon. I'm wrong. That was Bark at the Moon. Yeah, well, considering everybody just basically comes into Ozzy's band and hands him stuff. Or actually, Sharon just takes stuff. Here, Ozzy, sing these lyrics. Okay. You know what? He made a career out of it. I'll have to look that up. That sounds interesting. I was very big back in the day when I was tape trading of getting demos from like bands, like all the Metallica demos and some of it with different parts or lyrics, or the Guns N' Roses demos were always great because they would do like Welcome to the Jungle was like a 12-minute song, and they would just keep repeating the chorus over and over. I'm like, man, I'm glad when they got into the studio, they were like, hey, maybe we don't need this to be quite so long with the same parts over and over. I had a buddy, Joe Christopher, from Toms River, New Jersey, back with it, and he was good friends with one of the guys from Cryptic Slaughter out in California, and he would get rehearsals from them, and he would tape trade them. And I had like 50 Cryptic Slaughter rehearsals, and they would play all kinds of just random covers. Like somebody would be just screwing around on the guitar or the bass or something, and they would jump into some random song, and then you'd have to figure out what when you did track listings for me, you have to figure out what they were even like. I don't even know what this song is, Like I've heard this song, I don't know what it is. And then you go through and you find out they were like playing some like obscure Elton John song or something that one of them grew up with. It was very interesting. Show in the Dark is from '83 by a band called Wildlife, featuring a dude from Bad Company and Ozzy's bassist. I had no idea. I never knew that. I just figured it was a song that the band, Ozzy's band, wrote and handed to Ozzy, and then he did it. I mean, they had I was listening to Saturday. I was coming back from Amanda Ward's Clay County Writers Talk, and I had Ozzy's Boneyard on, and the guys like, we're gonna play like 4 songs in a row, and you tell me why I'm playing all 4 of these songs. It was basically the 4 songs that Lemmy wrote that Ozzy recorded, and then Motorhead also recorded after. Although, you know what? Those are. I like both versions of those songs. You could do like 5 hours on. These are all the songs that Gene Simmons wrote. That Kiss recorded, and other bands recorded that he had a tie into. Or you could do like, here we're going to play 47 straight hours of every song that Bruce Springsteen ever wrote for everybody else. Mushroom coffee. Today I'm on Twitch and YouTube Live, but obviously I prefer everybody to be on YouTube Live watching. I appreciate everybody who's been watching my videos and whatnot. We are at 2,674 hours of the 4,000 needed. And we're almost at 8,700 followers, subscribers too. Followers. And I'm going to use the back scratcher. Does anybody have any use points? The problem with doing both on a Monday is I don't know. I don't have any of the rankings. Who's wearing the crown? Heavy is the head that wears the crown. I can't see any of the emojis or anything you guys are doing on anywhere on Twitter, whatever. So it's just a nightmare. Well, let me put the thumbnail in here before I forget. Gotta have a thumbnail. Set this bad boy up. I'm trying to charge my watch. Not that I've been actually walking too much, but then it keeps flickering, which is annoying. Chad got in 1,200 words this morning. That's awesome. I got in no words this morning. This time thing is really just going to crush me. And so I rolled out of bed like almost 9:30 this morning. I was like, oh, let me hurry up and get some coffee and me do my coffee video. I guess it was really like 8:30, but you know, it's ridiculous. So now I'm gonna make it up now. Plus I'm going to lunch tomorrow. And that guy I usually talk to for like, I don't know, 4 hours straight. So plus he got a movie he starts shooting in a couple weeks, so he'll tell me all about that. It's interesting. I like hanging out with this guy Chris, but I'm not getting anything done tomorrow. And here's the pain in the ass of it all. Permafrost, my book comes out tomorrow. So I want to be able to be home to promote it. And I set up some stuff ahead of time. But also the Out of the Park Baseball 27 comes out. I get the free preview starts tomorrow for 10 days or 5 days or whatever. And I want to jump in and see all the new exciting features. No, thank you, Mr. Spam Risk. Not interested. Best wish on the Reese, thank you. At this point, I have no hope that it's even going to break even. That's I'm very negative about it just because sales have been just god awful. I'm so glad I'm doing the Twitch thing. I mean, the YouTube thing, because without this, I would just be like, oh, good, I'm making absolutely no money. I also got to do finally got the edits back for the second book for me and Tom. The Black Trilogy. So I got to do those because if this book's coming out tomorrow, that means in 4 weeks, then this book will be out. So I got to do all the edits on that. And then I'm waiting for the third book in this one to come back edited. She already edited the first book in the White Trilogy, which is the next one. But Tom is just every 10 days he's writing a chapter on the third book. So at this point, I don't even know if we're even going to have that third book done by the end of this year, which is crazy. It takes me forever to go back and read the last few chapters and figure out what we're even doing. So I'm sure when we send that to beta readers and then an editor, I'm sure everybody will be like, what are you guys even talking about here? Like, none of this is cohesive. Like, well, because basically Tom writes 3 chapters a month now on this. Halfly the Hound, I'm drinking tea and writing. Excellent. Hopefully you write more than you drink. I'm drinking mushroom coffee, so I probably need a bathroom break soon. If I drink it like 2-3 days in a row, then I'm fine. But if I drink it like I am, like sporadically every couple weeks, then really it really rips through my system. Plus, I had lumpias for lunch. Probably another half dozen more than I should have eaten, but they are delicious. Oh, sweet tea. You know what? I do love sweet tea. I'm here in the South. You know, the South, you got my wife, 47 pounds of sugar, a little bit of water, some tea bags. She's she is definitely a snob when it comes to sweet tea, but she grew up in Jacksonville. So, I mean, you can't just buy a bottle of sweet tea and think that you're drinking sweet tea. That's her thing anyway. I'm like, you know what? Just get me a thing of sweet tea. She also hates it because I always put lemon in mine. I'm like, I'm a big fan of lemon. Like, once you plant that lemon tree out back, I'll be sticking lemon in every time you make sweet tea. Like another lemon just bloomed, or whatever lemons do. Make some sweet tea. Another lemon just bloomed. You know what? I'm making shrimp. Shrimp with some lemon on. Delicious. Ads. Oh, you're on because you're on Twitch. That's why. I get it. I was like, what ads? Oh, Twitch. Chad, you got a release coming soon? Couple weeks. Nope. If the Hound is back, I got to read both because you are on. You're on Twitch, which is fine. Everybody else I'm seeing is on YouTube Live. Chad says, yep, it probably won't do great either. However, I have had 20 pre-orders for the Kindle so far and haven't even announced the book. That is awesome. I have exactly 0 pre-orders for Permafrost. I mean, I put it up 2-3 days ago, but still, man, pre-orders are nothing anymore for me. It says 1.5 cups of sugar, 7 bags microwave for 6 minutes. Pull it out and fix. My wife has her sweet tea, her machine that she runs. You got to fill it with a certain amount of water, and then you pour 400 pounds of sugar into it, and you got to line the tea bags. It's a whole process, but it is easily the best sweet tea I have ever had. It's probably why I'm still with her. You know, I mean, that might be the only. No, that's not the only. It's definitely a top 20 reason, though. Come on. All right, you are. You know what? No. Okay. Thought that was something that was nothing. Chester, I think the last book I released was The Bed Makers with John Bowden back in February 2024. So it has been a while. My mom eats lemons, and I want to get her a lemon tree. My wife wanted one, and her friend got her one for Christmas, but it's actually been too cold. You can't plant them if it's going to go like into the 40s or under, or it will die unless you got to wrap them and do all that stuff. So it's still from Christmas. It's still sitting just in the thing. We put the pot outside, and she waters it. Yesterday we got a real nice rainfall, but she's like, "Oh, I think I'm going to plant it Saturday," and I'm like, "Yeah, we're going to get a cold front in about a week." So guess what? Guess what? You probably won't be doing. That you want to go out there and cover it every night, which is annoying. Chess is not counting the kids' books and that awful screenplay novelization, right? The Chad Lutsky books that we know and love is what you're talking about. I get it. Half of the house says, I'm writing my first book. It's a dark fantasy shifter romance. Good luck with that. I went to my friend Amanda Ward, who writes as Amber Warden or AC Ward. She did a presentation for a writers group on Saturday about romance. I don't think most of the people there were interested in writing romances, though. They asked a lot of dumb questions and a lot of really stupid sexual innuendo crap. I'm like, you know what, you're like in your 60s. Stop talking about the friggin' eggplant emoji. Like you're 5 years old. Relax. We get it. Chester, you might like the Bedmakers. It's crime, nothing horror about it. Which one is that? Is that the? I read something with the two of you with the drifters in the going to that town. That wasn't that, was it? What was that one? That one was good. Half the says I'm on my second draft. Troy May, hello, long time. Hey, long time no see. Exactly. I'm only on Twitch on Mondays now. I'm on YouTube Live. I'm actually on YouTube Live also right now, but I do YouTube Live the rest of the week and Twitch only on Mondays. I'm trying to build up the YouTube channel. I'm getting there. I'm 1,300 hours from being able to get monetized. So working my way there. So feel free to also jump over to YouTube at any point and follow me, Armand's Opinion, and watch, I don't know, 1,300 hours worth of my videos. That would be awesome. Yeah, I've read that one. I like that one. I definitely like that one. Yeah, I read that one. That was some good stuff, Chad. Yeah, and it was the two drifter guys. Tori says, my work hours are so bad I usually work now when all the writing streamers are on. Yeah, it's you gotta find that your group that's actually on when you can actually do it. There's a woman that comes on every now and then, Tish, but she writes at like 6 in the morning. I'm like, I'm sleeping. I'm a full-time author. I roll out of bed at 9:30. Okay, thanks for reading it. You are welcome, Chad. Thank you for writing it. That's why I think that was the one I get really annoyed at you for for that you stopped writing because I like those books. Work 5:30 to 1:30 or 1 to 9. So it's been tough. Yeah. It's hard to get in the groove sometimes of I got all day to kill, and a lot of times I'm like, nah. Like yesterday, I was like Sunday, you know what? I hung out with Chad and Peter Marsh in the morning. We got some writing in. I got some writing. I was happy, and I was like, I'm done. Like I could jump on YouTube Live. I could get some writing in, but I'm like, nah. Nah. Yeah, I'm gonna play Minecraft for 6 hours today and just relax. I got this vast crevasse that I got to fill in. So I did that. I kept knocking down mountains and putting all the dirt into this giant hole. Like, you know what? This makes me happy. 74 degrees here. It's way too warm to open the windows, and there's absolutely no breeze. Chad, so we had a few tornadoes in surrounding towns the other day once the weather got nice. Oh, wow. That's crazy. Dude, you're posting a lot of stuff in this feed. You probably shouldn't. We don't normally do that here. Okay. No problem. We just don't normally. You're obviously you've jumped in anew where we don't normally. I don't normally let everybody start posting their stuff on mine because you do that for yours. It really jumbles up the chat. Big blocks of text. Goodness. I don't know who Harold is, but apparently they think I'm Harold because I just got 4 spam emails in a row for someone named Harold. I'm not Harold. Okay. I'm thinking I might only do like an hour today. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. I don't know. We'll see. We get some conversations going. Maybe we will. Just I keep getting emails from Brandon Sanderson, 4 of them. Now, why are you saying Brandon Sanderson? It's really Brandon Sanderson. I've gotten Colleen Hoover like 5 times over the last 2 days. She just keeps sending. Just poor woman just keeps sending me messages. I'm like, hey, I know what you're really trying to do, and I'm happily married, so back off. But I'm sure they're doing that because I'm sure there are gullible authors out there, right? That are like, oh my God, Colleen Hoover. I'm such a huge fan. Oh, who can you recommend for me? I'm in. I follow, I want to say like Nate Hofstetter, I think is his name. And he's always posting about all the different scams and all the different ones. And it's interesting every Monday. He sends like the list of all the new ones and who's been getting them from who. And it goes through like waves. I'd rather hear from Miss Hoover. I don't read fantasy. That's Mrs. Hoover to you. Don't forget about her wonderful husband. Yeah, I don't really read. I mean, technically, she doesn't write romance, but I don't know what Harold. I should have before I deleted him. I should have looked and seen what book Harold was writing that they love so much. Like, man, you're just copying and pasting so quickly on these. You're not even changing anything. Or is it like just do that and then somebody be like, "Oh no, this isn't Harold. What can I help you with?" Oh, your 2,300 member book club wants to read my book and purchase it. Or like, I just finished reading Dirty Deeds 5. Just loved it. I'm like, you did? Because I don't see a sale. I don't see where there was a sale on that book recently. Because I've read a couple of her books and liked them both. My daughter is a huge fan. In fact, I have one of her books on the shelf somewhere. My daughter's like, "You read this one. It's not romance at all. You would like it." But it's just in the pile. The thing with these Sanderson emails is that they're all follow-up emails. Are they legit follow-up, like he's written to you before? Or is it because a lot of them just say, "Oh, I'm just following back up from the email from another day." The other day, I'm like, I never got it. I never got an email from the other day. But that was my Colleen Hoover ones today, where I know I'm not trying to bother you. I know you're obviously, as a fellow author, I know how busy it can be. Just following up real quick to see if you're interested in just chatting. I would love to chat with you. About what? Tell me what we're chatting about. I'm like, I had lunch with you about 3 years ago at a conference. Do you remember that? Oh, wait, no, you're not really here. Are you building up the Substack, Chad? Because really the only way that works is if you add a few people and then from your post add some more people. But then their recommendations are normally not all that great. Like I'm looking at one right now, and literally it's like, here's 43 people. Like none of these people are even close. None of these are even so far are even writers. Or if they are, they're romance authors. So why are you doing that? Why are you wasting my time with that? Hi guys, what did I miss? Something about Colleen Hoover? Yeah, Colleen Hoover was just in the chat, Lorraine, asking about you. She wanted to help you, and then I was like, well, Lorraine hasn't shown up. And she's like, all right, I'll go help. I'll go make somebody else a multi-billionaire. Tell Lorraine she missed out. That's literally all that you've missed so far. Actually, Colleen Hoover sent me 5 messages in the last 2 days. Except it's not really, obviously not her. I don't think I need to explain that. Chad says, I mentioned I read a few of her books and liked them, and she writes Armand love letters. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Brandon Sanderson is sending you love letters, Chad. So, I mean, I guess we're even. It's like a wash. I probably will read a Colleen Hoover book at some point. Somebody just got so many other ones. In fact, another book came in at the library. Charlie hasn't read any Colleen Hoover. But I got to go to lunch tomorrow with that filmmaker slash horror author. Lorraine says she's a fan of yours, Armand. Did I hear that right about collaboration on the last video in my absence? Yeah, unfortunately, it's not Colleen Hoover sending me messages. I did meet her once. I did technically have lunch with her once. For instance, I read a couple. Her writing is sound, but her perspective isn't. Yeah. Amanda Ward did a presentation at the Clay County Writers Group on Saturday that I went to. And somebody brought up Colleen Hoover. Well, Colleen Hoover is a romance author, right? And she's like, you have to have a happily ever after. And most of her books are it takes the long way to get to the happily ever after. And there's a lot of other stuff that she's exercising from her real life. She tries to explain away infidelity. Yeah, she's got a lot. There's a lot of red flags with her writing for people who really read. All they read is romance stuff. At least in what it sounds like from what I'm hearing, all of her stuff is that way. She must live a complicated life. I guess so. I mean, not anymore. I think she just grew up and had a very complicated life. Now her and her husband own, I guess they still own that bookstore in Texas, and she's got all that movie money now, so I'm sure she's doing very well for herself. Chess says, oh, don't get me started on modern marriage and TV, books, and movies. It's never sacred. Right, so that's for sure, Chad. Yeah, it's well, they always try to make it into it's got to be something, whatever the thing is now. You know what I mean? That dog better not piss on my little free library, lady. Keep walking. Good. Okay. Ooh, those lumpias with sweet chili, something or other to dip it in. It's good, but it just now I burp all the time. I forgot I even had those in there. Here's also the problem with Substack. You find you're like, oh, I'm going to subscribe to these 15 Substacks, and then now I keep getting emails of welcome to the Substack and I'm like, it just actually send me the actual things, not the welcome to garbage. Troy says, yeah, all the notifications of Substack are nuts. Yeah. I won't mention his name, but there's an author that I've followed for many years, and he is opening a bookstore, or he wants to open a bookstore, but he started a GoFundMe for his bookstore, and I'm like, that shouldn't really be the way you. If you want to open a bookstore, you do, I don't know, like normal people, you get a loan, you save your money. There's people $1,500 raised of the $1,800 he's looking for. I don't know. Troy says that sounds familiar. Yeah. Well, yeah. Probably be online only in a year or so. Yep, like another one that we know. Chad says make sure you hit following at the top of your notification, the drop down menu instead of for you. It doesn't matter. You're gonna I get a million. The problem is I'll hit all of the I go through and I'm like, oh, you know what, I'll follow these 10. Because they're actually people that seem interesting. And then you get all the emails. Thanks for joining. Here's my thing. Here's my thing. Here, like 10 emails in like an hour from the. I'm like, I don't need that welcome email. It's the same email as everybody else's email. Once I get past that initial, I mean, the emails, yeah, loads, yeah, we'll talk about the emails. So then I'm like, most of them, like, all right, I'll spend a few minutes and going through. Most of them are going to be like people are writing stories. I don't want to read your stories. I'll read Charlie's story because I like Charlie. Mostly people are like, I don't know you, and why are you writing stories on it? I don't want to read your damn story, or I don't want to read chapters of your book. There's this one dude who has elephants on the cover of his book, and it's like a chapter, like every day, every other day of this book. And then it was done. I'm like, good. And now he's on book 2 of this with the giant elephant on the cover. And I'm like, enough. But I'm not going to block anybody. I'm sure there's a way you can not get emails from people, but I haven't figured that one out yet. Plus, maybe they're going to send something that I might want to read. Who knows? Chad says, ordered a bunch of books from Book Outlet, and they're out for delivery. Got my first Haruki Murakami. I've never read him. Have you? No. Let me know how it is, and if I would like it. And don't give me like, you might like. No, I need to really like it. You know what I like. If it's like, this is like Ron Rash, I'm in. Troy says, I know the one. The book is supposed to be good, but I just can't keep up with serialized novels. I tried with a few people on Patreon several years ago. Yeah, that's like not my thing. Now I do it on, but I've been doing it for 10 years on Patreon. I've been writing books that way, and there are people that read them, and I get it. And if you don't read it, I'm fine with that. Chaz, I've heard mention that me and Mr. Murakami have similar styles, so I guess we'll find out. All right. Troy says Murakami is on his list. It's one of those. Oh, good. I can't add anybody else. I got so many freaking books right now to read. And I purposely didn't do a March reading list thing. I also got my first Joyce Carol Oates collection. I've read a bunch of short stories, from her over the years. In fact, something I read not too long ago, one of her stories was in, and I like it. I just have never read a collection or anything like any of her longer stuff. I guess tomorrow I'll go pick up that other book. Says, oh, I stepped away for a minute and stepped back to Haruki Murakami. I've been meaning to read his work. Just have you ever read any Tobias Wolff yet? I'm just discovering him. Amazing stuff. No. I've heard the name, but that's as far as it has gone. I saw something out of the corner of my eye moving, and it was just me on the other monitor. Like, what sexy person is it? Oh, that's me. Oh, I'm the other sexy person in the room. I get it. Can't remember if you've read David Joy. I'm not sure. I want to say yes, but I don't. I definitely know the name. you like that, Chad? Looks like Charlie's got a new short story up. I'll actually read that one, Charlie. Tell you if I like it or not. If I don't like it, I'm going to rip it apart. There's Mike Lee. I'm here for the mushroom coffee. I'm drinking it. Look, I'll prove it to you. Look, I just drank some. I will be getting rid of the mushroom coffee. I'm gonna say within the next 15 minutes. Charlie says, "We'll see." Yeah, we'll see, Charlie. We will see. David Joy goes hand in hand with Rash, Harper, Cosby, all that stuff. Definitely recommend. I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to go to the library. Let's see if they have any of these supposed David Joy books. If that is his real name. It's not that. Let's see how much joy I get out of it. Not a fan. I've got 2 bags, waiting to see how it improves my mental acuity for writing. So I like it, except when I'm drinking it like 3-4 days in a row, it's fine. It's just coffee, and it's for my mental blah blah blah. I haven't had it in probably 3 weeks. So that first time you have it, don't go out for a ride or go to dinner or something. Basically have it in your house and be near the toilet. because it cleans you out. Lorraine says, Armand, I just bought your mom's favorite series, Belford Stories. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Man, I wish that it sold better than it did. I would love to keep writing books in that series. I loved it. Does it really taste like coffee? Okay, it tastes like coffee, and you sprinkled a little bit of dirt in it. I mean, that's the way I do it. It's not bad. It's not like a pound of dirt. It's just it's earthy. That's what everybody. Oh, it's earthy, and because it kind of tastes like you put some dirt in it. I don't know. I really like mushrooms though, so I don't really know if I taste the mushroom. This is like my third different mushroom coffee brand I've used. I don't remember what it's specifically for. I'm a tea and kombucha drinker. Who is this? Why do these people keep stopping in front of my house today? Like the third car today. Who is this? Ah, it's like a little girl, 3-year-old little girl that came, mommy, park so she can get a book from the little free library. All right, I will let you park there. Kombucha, I can't drink that. It tastes gross to me. That's just me. Chad says, random question. Anyone else struggle with saying familiarity? If I think about familiarity, if I think about saying it and I'm looking at it and I read it, but yeah, that's a tough one. Mike Lee says, yes, it's right. It does taste like dirt. The tea's equivalent may be dandelion root tea. I don't even know what that is. All right, little girl grabbed the book and she almost closed the little free library. And that's spam. So at some point, I'm going to have to go out there and actually close it before it rains, which I don't think it's supposed to rain today. Spicy dirt, but accurate. Yeah. This one's not bad. The first one I ever had, I think because I wasn't used to it, whatever brand that was like, oh my God, it like really just tastes like they forgot to clean off the mushroom. Matthew in the house. Hey, dude, it's done. Just making final edits based on suggestions from beta readers. Congratulations. Very cool. David, is there any specific David Joy that I need to read, Chad Lutsky? Because it looks like they have quite a few of them. How's my work coming along? So far, I've written about 500 words today, and I've drank some mushroom coffee. So not bad. I'm just waiting for Chad to tell me which David Joy book is. Are they standalones? They series. The problem with this is they don't tell you if it's part of a series or anything, but they do have a lot of his books. I think they have 5 of his books. All right, where all light tends to go and like that. I'm reading The Line That Held Us right now and it's great. Are they all standalones? They do have The Line That Held Us. They also do have. So this was Where All Light Tends to Go is published in 2015. The Line That Held Us was 2018. The Weight of This World 2017. When These Mountains Burn 2020. Where All Light Tends to Go. All right, so I'm going to place hold on both of those. Says, yeah, I believe they're all standalones. The ones I read are. Okay. So I'm going to put those two on hold since they have 7 copies and then 4 copies. $74 copies. Lorraine says, Matthew, your book is in the YA category, right? Many YA books make great adult reads too. Is that yours? Matthew says, I'm not sure if it's listed as YA, but it's not for children. Lorraine says, I love poetic titles like that first one, Chad. Chad, that is your real name. Also, they got this new thing. You can only renew everything 2 times. Apparently, this book is on hold by somebody else already. Okay. So I'll have to read that one next. All right, good times, good times. All right, Chad, we will read those books. I mean, they got to come in first. I can't read them now. I don't even have them. You know what's a great title? That thing we talked about. Sounds like a Leanne Rimes song. Great title for a post-mortem written book in a series, and another thing written for the HHGG series after Adam's death. Chad says that's one of your stories. Is it? I've written a lot of stories. That really is that thing we talked about. Oh, that's probably one of my crime thriller stories. You got me, Chad. You got me. I think Amazon had listed for ages 13 to 18, but I wondered if they expanded beyond that. That is good. What's funny is I'm like, I should write that down. That sounds like a really good title. I should write that story. Not too long ago, I started a story, and I I came up with the title, and then I started, and I'm like, I think I wrote that already. And of course, I look through my external drive, and I'm like, oh yeah, I wrote that story like 5 years ago. That with that title. Let me come up with a different title. Too funny. There goes Neil or his wife for the 408th time today. And these people do not stay home, which is good for me because I'm just sitting here staring, counting how many times they're in and out. Matthew says, then the problem was when I was setting it up because I think I'd have to be raised to about 15. It might be considered in the same category as aspects that I think are not appropriate. The problem with Amazon now, too, is they are moving. I just read a thing where they're moving books, trying different categories that are adjacent or close, and they're just basically you're suggesting these are the 3 I want to be in, and they're going, nah, we're going to put you in this one. Bodies, bodies, bodies. I'm almost done with this mushroom coffee, and I have not run to the bathroom yet. Yeah, Redwall. I was wondering about that comparison when I saw your book cover. Tomorrow, Permafrost comes out. Excited about that. I'm not sure if it's going to sell. I'm hoping the literally hundreds, thousands of people that read Dying Days books over the last 15 years will somebody will buy the damn thing. Oh, that's a big yet. A big yet. So I need about 1,300 hours watched, people. So continue to help me out. I appreciate it. What's funny is having a title like 3 Mile Smile that nobody can get right. Yeah. I just call it Vertical Smile. It's easier that way. Jed says, see, you just said it wrong. No, Vertical Smile. Isn't that the title? 3 Mile Smile? I said it that way, didn't I? 3 Smile Mile. That is a tongue twister. Lorraine says, YA means 13 to 18 is right, like Hunger Games. Mike Lee says, to be fair, German folktales have animals by definition and aren't things I'd read to kids yet. That's the intended audience, but yeah, I get your point. Well, them German stories were really to scare the crap out of your kids, so they'd stay out of the woods. Lorraine says, yep, putting kids in ovens, not for little kids' ears. You know what, though? Some kids should still be hearing those stories. There's got to be a wasp nest somewhere in front of my house because I've seen a lot of wasps out there. 78 degrees right now. with no breeze. It's got to be hot. Matthews says, Mike Lee, I'm not trying to aim for kids at all. It feels almost the same with how the people perceive video games as being for kids. Chad says, wolves eating your grandma, then dressing up in her clothes like Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. Which I think where they got that idea, Little Red Riding Hood, the German who wrote it watched Silence of the Lambs. I was like, you know what? I could do this, but I'll make it a wolf. I guess it would keep kids out of the woods to tell them stories like Hansel and Gretel. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it never kept us out of the woods. But if we had been, you know what? If we had been eaten by a wolf, my parents would have went, that's on you. I read you all these stories. That's on you. Yeah, exactly. That's not. They're not teaching us anything. Mike says, not disagreeing. Next time someone says video games are for kids, though, please give them Silent Hill 2 and let me know the results. Kiss was for kids. Kiss was for anybody who had money. Lorenz says, I virtually lived in the woods during the day when I was a kid. Kids rarely are outside anymore. I know, but it was, it's summer. All right, we'll see you for dinner. It was one of those, the moms took turns yelling that it was 5 o'clock, dinner time. All right, we all got to go in. And then it'd be like, can we go out after dinner? No. Ugh. Every now and then we get all the kids and they would all ask their parents, can we at 9 o'clock when it gets dark, can we play Manhunt? No. Well, the Dowds and the Bettings are all going to be playing. And then my mom would be like, all right, fine. That was also before, like, the neighbors, I mean, it was mostly kids anyway. So it was like everybody was out running around anyway. Nobody was like calling the cops because there's kids in their yard. Good times. Mike, I lived out in the sticks. The river Styx? I guess I went over. I went over now. I was like, I'm going to do this for an hour. I've gone over, which is fine. I'm actually almost done with this chapter. I'm just dragging my feet. I got to figure out the. All right. I had to think about what you asked. Sadly, I wish I had a three-headed dog to guard my property. Don't we all? Speaking of dogs, there's some giant dog running down the sidewalk over there, like a mastiff. The sticks or sticks, as I heard from many a country twang neighbor, a great training ground for a writer, as there isn't much else to do but read and write. Exactly. We down here they call it they'll call it. I grew up in the sticks. In New Jersey, I would always said we grew up in East Bumblefuck. Out in the middle of nowhere. Did you know what? I grew up in a very small, in New Jersey, a small fishing village. We also use the term BFE here. You had to, as kids, you had to use your imagination. I grew up with like 30 kids on the block on a dead end street, so that was kind of cool. With woods all around us and the Navy base at the top of the block. So try to picture New Jersey with an area that is the middle of nowhere. My wife, when we first went up there, my wife was like, she thought it was going to be like that opening scene to The Sopranos, all the factories and all that. And I'm like, New Jersey, that's why they call it the Garden State. There's a ton of open areas. There's big cities, but then there are like towns which are more like villages. Like I grew up in Belford, which is the books you just grabbed. I grew up in Belford, which is literally a fishing village. And that's what it was very, very different from what people think of New Jersey. Charles has only been to New Jersey a couple of times, but spent a lot of time on Fort Dix, and it was the middle of nowhere. Yeah, Fort Dix is also the middle of nowhere. Yeah, there's a lot of farmland, especially once you go west towards Pennsylvania. There's just a whole lot of nothing. Lorraine says, cross over to New Jersey from New York City once, eons ago, to grab a bite to eat and a brief visit with my mother-in-law. I hope you had a pork roll, egg, and cheese sandwich on a hard roll. Which reminds me to add to my food list. Pork roll. There was something else. Charlie says, did you go into the Pine Barrens much? Heard a lot about it, and there are some good horror stories set there. Yeah, but the Pine Barrens is a huge, like a third of the state is the Pine Barrens. And obviously it's been built up and plundered over the years with housing and everything. But I grew up in what they call Central Jersey, which people say that isn't a real thing. It's North Jersey and South Jersey. Yeah, I would go down in that area. What's the urban legend creature from New Jersey? There's two. There's the Jersey Devil and there's Chad Lutsky. Those are the two scary ones. Jersey Devil. Jersey Devil, named after the hockey team. What was the other thing I was going to have my wife get me. Now I can't think. I keep my running list of food items that so I can make food. Now I can't think of what those things would be. I'll remember it when I'm not sitting here, which is what always happens. Why does the Misfits sound familiar? My brain thinks I should know it. They're a band from New Jersey originally. Glenn Danzig was the lead singer. Metallica covered a couple of their songs. Mike Lee says the Late Night Lutsky. Yeah, that was a scary creature. Armand is lost because he keeps skipping my comments. Seriously, there's no comments. Oh, there it is now. I swear it wasn't just there. Charlie said Jersey Devil, and then Lorraine said haha. And then Lorraine said the Misfits. So I knew there was a Chad one in there, but now I see it. Two cool things about New Jersey, the Misfits and Friday the 13th. Bud Lake. There's one about pumping gas in New Jersey and one about the Misfits. One about pumping gas. I don't see a gas one. Yeah, you were like just coming in. Your posts are coming in late. Chaz has never been to Jersey. I'd probably get arrested for pumping my own gas. Yeah, they would throw you down on the hood. Chaz says, Lorraine, if you Google Misfits Skull, you'll recognize it from seeing it every day of your life. That is very true. Yes, that is very true. I always like telling the story of growing up, and my brother was a jerk. And we pulled up, we were going somewhere, and I was driving. And my brother's like, I'll pay for the gas. Like, all right. And we pulled up, and the guy comes to the window, and my brother's like, I'll order. I'm like, all right. He's like, hey, can we get $10 regular pigeon beak? And the guy went, huh? 10. My brother's like, 10. And then he walked away, and I said, what did you call him pigeon beak for? He's like, I didn't call him pigeon beak. I said, you 100% called this guy pigeon beak. He's like, I did. No, I did. Nope, did not. The guy pumps our gas, comes over. My brother gives him like $12. Here you go. You keep the change, pigeon beak. And then the guy just looked at him weird, and then I just drove away. I said, why'd you call that guy pigeon beak? He's like, I didn't call him pigeon beak. And for the rest of the day, whenever we went somewhere, he would call somebody, hey, can I get another Coke here, pigeon beak? And he would call everybody pigeon beak. And then he would swear he wasn't calling people pigeon beak. Because my brother was insane. Chad says, or you'll recognize it from the tattoo on my arm I've had since 1987. Like 10 billion other people. Frank Edler in the house. Mr. Frank tosses a few Mondo coin on the table to pay for the story. I appreciate you paying for that. Yeah, pigeon beak. Lorraine says, give me a second to Google it. Stop pressuring her, Chad. Lorraine hates when you pressure her. Do not call Lorraine pigeon beak. Frank says, that sounds like somebody you'd see on Impractical Jokers. Yeah. Except it was my brother, and we were in like 1988, we were doing it. Chad said, the difference between me and the 10 billion other people is I had mine first. I'm sure you've had it for more than most of out of 10 billion people with it, probably 9.5 billion got it well after 1987. Well after. So those kids were getting it in the early 80s when the Misfits had already broken up. The actual fans. Frank says he left money on the table. Yep. Good times. Chuck seemed very upset that the McKay's in Knoxville was closing. No, Lorraine doesn't remember it. Huh. She's a lady, Chad. You keep forgetting this. Unlike you, she's a lady. Chad says, then you're more of a lady than I thought, Lorraine. Exactly. Ugh, my feet hurt. You know what? I'm about to finish my mushroom coffee. Oh, no, I had more. Lorraine said, evidently I had the wrong friends. Oh, wait, I was a wallflower. She's a lady, not a love bomb baby. Love bomb baby, blow me away. I think I have Mike Lee. I have lunch with Mike Lee this Thursday coming up as well. I'll be out of the house tomorrow, Thursday. Find something to do Saturday. All kinds of crazy stuff. Right, says there was a group of guys in high school who drove a hearse and were into skulls and poetry that I think tried to befriend me, but I was clueless. Yeah, they wanted to sacrifice your body down near the gravel pits. Worship Satan. Those kids. Hopefully, you said stay away from me, Chad Lutsky. Mike says, yep, should be exciting. We got other cranking. What? I'm reading the wrong thing. What is this guy doing? What are you carrying a giant stick for? What do you think, you're going to beat up a pack of wild dogs while you're walking, old man? Yep, should be exciting. We got other confirmations as well. Like new people coming or just Mike and Win? Ches, it sounds like some goths probably cranking Sushi, and The Cure. I had a guy in high school who swore it was Sushi and the Banshees. He loved Sushi and the Banshees. I'm going to guess at this point in his life, he's eating sushi as well. Frank says, how I motivate myself to write every day. How? On the list, thank you. Orion says, I'm laughing so hard right now. Mike Lee says, old school goths. Frank says, Gravel Pit, great Wu-Tang tune. Lorraine says, we didn't have any goths yet in my school in 1987. You definitely did. I graduated in 88, and that's what there was a lot of. Goths. It was all the weird people wearing black lipstick and painting their nails black. Wearing Sushi and the Banshee shirts. Chad says, Armin, gonna put 2 free libraries right outside my house. Also, Armin, why is this person right outside my house? Now, here's the problem, Chad. Please let me explain myself. You're painting the wrong picture of me. That was like the 3rd car today that just stopped in front of my house for no reason. Finally, in that instance, the little girl got out and went and got a book. Now, she didn't close the library all the way, but at least she got a book. The other 2 cars, they just park in front of my house for 10 minutes, and I don't know what they're doing. Why are you in front of my house? If you're not going to go to the library, if you're not going to pick up a book, go somewhere else. That's all I'm saying. Right, rural Georgia, just foul language and skulls on jackets. Mike says, same old butt. I've been talking with young Mike about new people. They won't be here this time, though. I can only imagine the losers that young Mike's going to bring to lunch. Lorraine says, not in my school, Armin. That's a shame. You really didn't live the American dream. Chad says, 87 was prime goth stuff. Trench coats, strange hair, boots. Oh, yeah, a lot of boots. Look, I just went to the mall and picked up these Doc Martens. I remember there was a time, Frank, do you remember this? There was a time at the clubs in the 90s in Jersey where you weren't allowed to wear boots, and you weren't allowed to wear like red suspenders, any of the Nazi, because all the Nazi kids were there. So you weren't allowed to wear like certain things when you went to the club. Frank says they listen to Depeche Mode a lot. Lorraine says rural Georgia was too country for all that, behind the curve by at least 10 years. Chad says Depeche New Order. Chad's so cool he can just call them Depeche and you know who he's talking about. Oh yeah, I just listened to Depeche. Lorraine says cowboy hats, ripped jeans, puffy hair, boys with perms. Chad says, can't tell if you're from Idaho or San Francisco, Lorraine. That's a fair assessment. Lorraine says, what? Because she's a lady. So she's disturbed by that comment. What? My stomach's making some noises. Noises. Chad says, why I never. Yes. And then Lorraine holds her hand to her mouth in shock. And of course she's wearing white gloves with her antebellum southern dress. Frank says, I saw a commercial for mushroom coffee the other day. They neglected to list the major side effect. Yeah, I wonder why. Lorraine says, Chad, I never sound like that. Okay, sometimes. Chad says, lol. Mike Lee says, my generation of goths got split into emo and alternative. So they either listened to Slipknot and Insane Clown Posse or Evanescence and Good Charlotte. So they listened to no good bands, is what you're saying. Your generation was awful. Chad says, that's way post goth, Mike. Yeah. But he's a little kid, so he doesn't know. Lorraine says, I used to get accused of that vibe a lot, Arm, back in the day. We watch those airport shows where people are trying to get into other countries. And every single time on those shows, when they say, do you have anything to declare? I say, and my wife hates it, I say, I do declare. And she says, please stop doing that. Lorraine says, oh, I like Evanescence. See, you're goth. Mike says, it is way away from the OG, so I specified my generation. I mean, in all fairness, he did not say, hey, Chad, I'm your age. He said, hey, Chad, I'm 25 years younger than you. Hey, Chad, you were in your 40s when he was doing it. Lorraine is going to gain the nickname Lovey Howl. I guess I am going to do 2 hours today. And I got to the next page on this, so I just got to write several more lines, and then this chapter is done. Charlie says, I really liked Korn and Blink 182 about that time. There you go. Chad says, Lorraine says, no, Chad, that will not do. Lorraine says, I could definitely be a bohemian gothic hybrid. And then I just got to run my eyes back up the chat and see if I missed anything from Chad. Chad says, I jest. Lovey was pompous and old, but she did wear white gloves. She did wear white gloves in all fairness. Lorraine said, Charlie is speaking a foreign language. Someone translate. He also listened to crappy bands growing up. That's all. Lorraine said, but that thing she did with her mouth. What are my eyes both itch? Mike said, I forgot about corn. How can you forget about corn? Corn is delicious. I am a band, not so delicious. When I went to the doctor last Thursday, I got my blood drawn. I still got a mark on it's bothering me. And I got all my test results back. And she's like, your white blood count and something else is very high. She's like, it seems like your body is fighting an infection. But she upped my Rybelsus dose, and she's like, I'll see you in 3 months. We'll do another blood test. I'm like, son of a bitch. All right. Charlie says, Korn was probably my favorite band in the late 90s and early 2000s. Lorraine says, Korn on the cob. Is that the modeled heirloom type? Yes. Corn on the cob with the K. That's all the different colored kernels. Charlie is also a young guy. You know, I was listening to in the 2000s. I was listening to the same crap I was listening to in the 80s. Frank says, I dig me some corn. Me. Mr. Me. Mike says, historically, things known for beginning with a K do not like color. Chad says, in the late 90s, I discovered Fu Manchu, Brant, Bjork, Grade, and Coheed and Cambria. All bands I've barely heard of or heard, and not a fan of anything I've heard. But again, we have two very different likes and tastes. Lorraine said, sounded more authentic with the MR as in MER. A little kid up the road used to say Mur for about everything. Mur Frank? Lorraine says, Chad knows every band that has played a chord. Pretty much, yeah. Chad says, one cool thing about getting old is rediscovering bands you passed on the first time around, like Steely Dan and Flock of Seagulls, then falling in love with them. There you go. Lorraine says, unfortunately, I forget more of them than I remember. Yeah, every now and then, like, I'll hit Spotify and I just hit, like, one of the daily, like, random things. And then it'll play through, and then all of a sudden a song will come on. I'm like, I know this. And this is actually a good song. Then I'm like, oh, this is like, you know, the Smiths or something. And I'm like, I hated them back in the day, but I didn't really hate the music. I hated the people who liked this stuff, which is why I hated the music. So now I'm like, you know what? Sitting here in my office, I can appreciate them a little bit more. Right, it says, yay for Steely Dan. Forgot about Steely Dan. See, I wouldn't have remembered without prompting. There you go. Now Lorraine will go on a week-long Steely Dan kick. Says, yeah, I'll hear like Cars by Gary Newman, and I'm like, yeah, I remember this. Then I'll go and listen to the full album for the first time, and I'm like, this is great. Yeah, that's always cool when it's something like that, and you're like, I remember, like Gary, I remember for this one song. But then all of a sudden, you're like, you know what? I'm surprised. I'm happy that this is all really good stuff. And then there's other stuff that I'm listening to, or something will come on. I'm like, oh my god, this is awful. Why did I like these guys? Like, this singer is god awful. This guitar is, it's like just bad, lyrically just bad. Like, I wish I had never heard this song again. Michael Lee says, Steely Dan is on my short list to listen to. Finally heard Dio and REO, really? That's funny. Right, so some bands from the 70s and 80s really passed the test of time. Just look how often they're used in commercials. Ted says, sometimes you're just not ready to appreciate stuff, especially if you're a young, closed-minded metalhead. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff from the 90s that when I put on XM Sirius Radio, when I put on like Lithium or that alternative 90s alternative channel, and probably about 60% of it I like. And it's songs that I've probably heard a bunch of times, but when you hear them in high school and in the 90s, you're like, yeah, this is because it's a certain group of people that like this stuff. And I'm like, yeah. And back then I'm like, dude, I'm into metal. I'm into thrash metal. I'm not gonna listen to this garbage. Like REM, this is crap. Yeah, 80s on 8, exactly. My wife gets in the car, and a lot of times she won't put country on when I'm in the car because I don't like most of it or all of it. But she will put on like the 80s at 8 on 8 or the 90s on 9 and a couple other ones like that. And a lot of times I'm like, I remember this song. You know what? This isn't a bad song. Chet said, that's the difference between today's top 40 and yesteryears. None of today's music will be remembered or appreciated decades from now. Except the kids who are listening to it now will still be listening to some of that stuff then. Like my daughter, some of the stuff she listens to now, she's 25, she still will listen to some of that stuff. And I'm like, what? She's like, this is what I grew up with. You know, might not be as big as or whatever is important, but to me, this is important stuff. She's like, Skid Row to you is important. That's what you grew up on. She's like, One Direction. That's the Jonas Brothers. That's what I grew up on. Hannah Montana. Oh, he says, I can. Whoops. No, I can. I can't listen to 80s pop now. It grates my nerves. See, my wife is 6 years younger than me. So while I graduated in 1988, my wife was like 12 years old at that point. So she graduated in like 93, I think. Yeah, 93. So it's very, very, but 93, by the time she graduated high school, I was already married and divorced once. Lorraine says, if it leaned darker from the 80s, I still love it. Mike Lee's not a fan of country music. Chess says, no, I don't think they will. None of it is memorable, and the lyrics are worse than Paul Stanley's. People aren't going to be singing WAP at their 50th wedding anniversary. You say that, but again, you're a different generation. I would not place money on that. You might be right, okay? But so far, every generation has held on to their music. Now, because of the way we do things now, I think it will be a big difference. But people also will look and go, wow, so There's a lot of bands that had some really crappy, stupid lyrics, but people still love those songs. People are still like, oh, we still got to play the Electric Slide and the Macarena at weddings. Well, those are garbage songs. Troy says, class of 2005. What are you, 10 years old? Troy says, I like some country music, but not much new stuff. Lorraine says, the new country music all sounds like... The new country music is all basically pop music. But that's what my wife grew up. My wife grew up on 60s music that her parents listened to, and then actual old school country music. So most of the stuff now, she is not a huge fan of. She's a huge Brad Paisley fan. That's like the one thing that she loves. Tries the same here. Chad says, I used to think the way you're thinking, Armand, but then I saw Rick Beto and someone talking about the difference, and it made sense. You might be right, Chad. Who knows? We know what we'll tell. Time will tell. Oh, Mike Lee, no, come on. It's all basically just pop music. Country music is, let's just do. Mike Lee, class of 2011. All these little kids in here. All these little children. None of these were even born when I graduated high school. Good point, Chad. Got a lady in here, Mike. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. Because guess what? I drank mushroom coffee. And my stomach is making some noises. Come on, Mike. I'm trying to get monetized here. When I said my dad listened to 50s rock and roll and my mom listened to stuff like the Mamas and the Papas. I still love the Mamas and the Papas. There you go. We will, don't worry, I won't, do not stay away from that, Lorraine. You're a lady. I will probably not be on tomorrow because I have lunch with Chris Wiggins. That usually lasts 3, 4, 5 hours. I mean, there's a chance I'll be on later in the day tomorrow, but probably not. But I will see everybody on Wednesday. I'll see everybody on Wednesday. All right. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate everybody watching. Appreciate everybody hanging out with me today. Everybody watching after the fact. I also appreciate everybody still hanging out on Twitch with me as well. And everybody who's been watching my videos after the fact several times on mute in the background. No long uncomfortable silence.